So I'm making this video because I want to see what other people think about volume candlesticks as compared to regular candlesticks. And essentially, over the last 3 to 6 months or so, I have fully switched from using candlesticks, which I think everyone knows by now, to being really volume candlesticks for like 99% of the way I look at charts. Of course, I still might dabble and just go with the basic area chart to keep things simple. Just show me a line chart of price. But when I do go to a more visual based chart that shows me the open, high, low, and close on a single candlestick, that's why they call it candlesticks, looks like a candle, it shows you the open, high, low, and close. I have been exclusively using volume candlesticks. And I want to see what you think about this and just sort of show everyone the difference of sorts. So first of all, why don't I actually turn this into a weekly chart? So if I zoom out, it's still clear. So what you see here, well, I actually have to use a daily chart for this illustration. So what you see here basically is a chart of NVDA. We all know it by now, the leading AI stock. People just can't stop talking about it because of the chips that it creates. It's going to power the next stage of AI. And you can see here I got these candlesticks, but each candlestick is the same width. They're different heights, right? So they've got different heights, right? Tall, short, or tall, or medium, but their widths are always the same. There's just no difference in the widths on regular candlesticks. Now that's where volume candles come into play, which I just think are so interesting. Because volume candles now are changing the width of the candlestick based off of the amount of volume that's been traded. Now, we all know that volume is down here at the bottom. It shows you how much trading volume has happened within this specific candle. So this is a daily chart or a daily candle. This is how much volume happened on that day. Just look at the candle, look at the volume bar, or just look at that with the corresponding candle, and you know that's how much volume there was. So with volume candles selected, what I think is so interesting, and it's probably not that easy for you to see just yet, but you should be able to get a good feel for it now. Let me zoom in on this. Let's see if that helped at all. You should be able to see that some of the candles are just larger. You can't even miss it, that they're just larger than the rest. So, for example, look at this candle. You can tell that it is a bit larger than all the others. Look how small some of these candles are. Now let's go back to this candle. You can't miss it. How about this candle right here? You just can't miss it. So your eyes are immediately drawn to these very large volume days. I'm going to go back to regular candlesticks. So watch this. Just keep your eyes on this one and this one, and let's go back to regular. Do you see the difference now? Look at the difference in the chart now. It's just incredible what type of quick visual cues you can get when you utilize volume candles. Rather than just seeing all the price action for what it is, you get to see all the price action with the days that had the most volume very clearly shown to you with the open, high, low, and close, and then the red and green of the candle. It's pretty wonderful. I have to say, it's very wonderful. And even look at the difference in the chart itself too. It's just super interesting at how it gets constructed. Now, trading's really hard. Something like 99% of traders fail, or maybe it's like 97% of traders fail. Investing is really hard. Most people just use investment advisors. I'm simply just sharing this as an educational tool and sort of a quick video to explain some interesting concepts about these volume candles. So I want to talk about an example that I'm watching. Now, this is the chart of NVIDIA. Now, one thing that's going on with NVIDIA is people are talking about the AI models that are being made. And there's quite a bit of chatter about sort of how many chips will be needed for these AI models. And are they finding efficiencies? Do they not need as many chips as they thought? Do they need more chips? Is AMD getting a little bit more involved? Is Intel making breakthroughs? And so I saw some of these things come across my desk earlier this week and then especially today. And sure enough, I've got this red candle in NVIDIA. And, just at first glance, if you think about that news that I just mentioned in this red candle, you might think, well, maybe this is a turning point in NVIDIA. Maybe there is something here that might take it back down right here to these levels. But where volume candles are just beautiful, and of course I could look at the volume bars, but you can just see it's not as crisp or easy to see, right? You just sort of, but where volume candles are just fascinating is that I can now see this day with previous red days in mind. So look at the size of this red candle, or even the size of this red candle, or even the size of this red candle up here, which, by the way, is a somewhat similar price. So we can just sort of click through so we can see the top was here, current price is here. It looks like it tested that today. Well, clearly there was just an enormous volume difference on these prior days with these red candles, which then I can quickly see. Look at the volume here. It's Friday. How much do I really want to do with this information now? And this is where volume candles, I think, are wonderful. They just sort of shape the trading action with the context of volume in mind. After all, as a quick example, if someone traded one share of NVDA, and that was it, we had one share, and this was just a one share day. It opened at 148 and closed at 142. One share, and I saw this candle. Would you really let that one share day impact your sort of decision making? Like, wow, look at that red candle, it's down. But then you look into it, realize it's one share. The answer is probably not. You need to see pretty epic share trading or shares being moved to actually demonstrate that maybe something has fundamentally changed. Tons of traders and investors they're trading this stock because of the news that's coming up. They're changing their mind. Maybe some buyers think it's a great buying opportunity, so they're buying in force, while people think it's a great selling opportunity, so they're selling in force. And so you really get some large volume spikes. And that, to me, is why I now really only use volume candles. And I'll have more updates on this rather soon, but you can also use this, I believe, which might be interesting, in conjunction with some of your maybe technical indicators or technical drawing tools. So you'll recall that I was drawing some lines before, so I want to draw this line again. And I also think that this is an interesting level too as well. And so I've got these two levels because of this top here. And then also this line seemed to have acted as, some support on a few different occasions. Got close here, but not quite. So essentially, you can look at these levels now that are being drawn and listen to this. You might find this really interesting. Specifically focusing on these lows here, even though it tagged this levels each time, you don't see very large candles. This is not that large of a candle, not that large of a candle, not that much volume. So you drew the level, and even though it broke through the level, right? It broke through right here, the level you broke through. There's this element of it wasn't enough volume to actually sort of invalidate that level you were watching. So rather than just focusing on the price action, what if there's one share, just went down once, one share? Like, does that matter as much as 10 million share? 10 million shares means maybe something's fundamentally changed. The point is that you can start to use these volume candles for the levels you draw. Now, I like drawing levels. I like technical analysis. I love gap fills. If you watch my video, so you kind of got this gap fill here. So if I'm trading NVIDIA with this volume candle in mind, like it looks like a kind of casual reset of price. So I'm not trading this right now. I don't own any shares of NVIDIA, but maybe what I'm going to do is set an alert right on this line, right on this horizontal line, wait for it to come to this alert, and then really see how much volume arises. How large does this candle get? And if this prints a huge red candle because there's enormous volume as well, just, mega volume here too, well, maybe that line is now invalidated. I have no interest. That's something, that's the players now involved they're going at it. This is a turning point. I'm going to be patient. But if it's some sort of a fake out, very thin candle, right? You barely even see it, small volume. My alert triggers right here. It briefly dips under. I might then now go for it. And this is sort of the things I'm working through with volume candles and why I'm moving on from candles in general. And if you're a crypto trader, I think you're going to be able to see the same exact thing. So here's a chart of Bitcoin, for example. And you can just sort of see right away the days that are influential to Bitcoin, especially on the up move. I mean, look how cool this is. Okay, here's a regular candlestick chart of Bitcoin. All right, what does it mean? I definitely see some volume here. Let me try to match the volume up. Okay, but now watch the volume candles. You can just see the impacts here, and look at this. It's super, super interesting to it's so easy to see. Which reminds me, I should say, volume candles do make the volume bars bigger as well. So look how, look at the width of this volume bar. Look at the width of this volume bar, just barely noticeable. And so these up moves have so much more color and context to them. I think it's beautiful. And it's why I'm essentially making the shift. I'm not fully there. I'm like I said, I'm over 95%. May have said 99% earlier in the video, but that might be too much. But I'm close to 100%, and it's just going to be volume candles from this day forward. So if you found this video interesting, found it fascinating, thanks. Give me an upvote or a comment. Give me a subscription, whatever you feel like. And I'll have more videos coming. Thanks for watching.